Hello, welcome to Yellow Dirt Urban Homestead. I am Asia. I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space in my backyard. So I have noticed, if you've been here for a while, you know that I am not covering my garden this year. I am in Virginia Zone 7B, and so I'm not covering this year. I have covered for fall and winter all years before now, but I'm not going to cover this year because I want to see which vegetables can survive uncovered. Covering your vegetables takes a lot of time. It is cold outside. I do not like being in the cold. And so when you cover, you have to cover at night and then come out in the morning or whenever you know it's not freezing anymore and vent. And so that means every day you have to do this. But what I'm noticing, just like I had noticed with my Swiss chard, is that the larger leaves are starting to somewhat, in my opinion, get frost damage. So I'm going to show you that. So to avoid that on some of the plants that I'm noticing it on, I'm noticing it on the Lacinato kale. I'm still noticing it on the larger leaves that I left on the Swiss chard. I'm noticing it on some of the cabbage. And then I seem to be noticing it a little bit on the turnips. And so when I say that it's getting some kind of frost damage, I kind of just mean like they're not as perky as they were. And so we got down into the 20s last night. Right now we are well into the 30s, probably close to 40s. And some of these vegetable leaves still look limp. So those vegetables I'm going to go ahead and harvest. So just to kind of show you what I mean, like right here, this is a Lacinato kale leaf. It's supposed to look more like this. And this one too. So the ones closer to the bottom that are a little bit older don't seem to be bouncing back as much. And so I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these, and I'm gonna put them in some water in the house to try to rehydrate them a little bit. And then I'm probably gonna preserve them. They have to soak anyway. But you see the difference between this leaf and that leaf? So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest most of the larger leaves, and I'm gonna leave these leaves in the middle. I also have some kohlrabi that's ready to harvest, woohoo! And I watched The Everyday Life of an OCD-ish chick the other day. I did that last night. And I apparently have been harvesting my broccoli rabe wrong. So if you remember, I told you that the broccoli rabe was way bigger than the Brussels sprouts. And so I can harvest like the leaves and everything of this broccoli rabe, which I did not know. And so I'm gonna harvest that too, just so that the Brussels sprouts can get a little more sun. So there's always that learning experience. I see people say that they don't cover in zone 7B. And so that's why I'm doing this year. Also, I will know for next year, like maybe there are certain vegetables that do need to be covered in zone 7B. And when I plant out next year, then I will just go ahead and put them all in one bed and only cover one bed. So that's my reasoning for doing this. I want to make my job a little bit easier, but I still do want to garden 365 days a year. Let me show you the kohlrabi. So the kohlrabi is also looking a little limp. So is this cabbage. And it may be because of the fact that I have a lot of shade in my backyard in the fall. And that's fine. I just know that I need to cover them because of that reason. Because the cabbage over here, well, for instance, here, this cabbage does not look limp. This cabbage does not look limp. But they are in full sun all day. So I'm learning, and I'm excited to be learning. So there are also a few large collard leaves. I'm gonna go ahead and take those that didn't look like they bounced back too well. This one is not one of them, but it's pretty big, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that too. And so one thing you need to know is I'm cutting all of this stuff back. It's gonna grow back, but because we're in fall, this is not going to grow back quickly. So when I do my next garden tour, this bed is going to not look as full as it has looked all fall, but it will grow back. It's just going to grow a lot slower. And this is what I was telling you about the larger leaves of Swiss chard. Do you see that leaf? It's very limp. So that's why I took the larger ones when they were in better condition, because I noticed this my first year gardening. as long as you leave some leaves on here that the sun can use, or that the plant can use the sun through, they will grow back. And I completely forgot that I had put 2 kohlrabi at the end of this bed, so I'm sure they'll be happy to get a little more sun too. Okay, so this is the kohlrabi, which I said, let me show you the kohlrabi, and then I never did. And see, it's very limp too, but it's also very shaded, so makes sense. But look at that kohlrabi. There's one right there that's ready to go. This one I'm gonna let go a little bit longer. That one's gonna let go a little bit longer too. I probably could take that one. That has a hole in it. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna leave it anyway. So another thing I'm probably gonna do is throw some frost blankets over some of the vegetables that are in the shade most of the day, and see if that makes a difference. I just cut right at the bottom, and look at that nice little kohlrabi. These are the things that I tell you that I cook like French fries. They do not taste like French fries, but they give the appearance of a French fry. And they're pretty delicious, and I just normally put them in the oven. I don't fry them. I might try frying them. And there's another one. So there's another one. I also still have collards that I never harvested when I harvested the ones in the middle bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest those too. All right, so these collards back here are Vates collards. The other collards were Georgia Southern and Morris Heady. It was the first time I grew these collards. They got huge. I'm thinking that I maybe put too many in this bed together. So the closer you plant your plants together, the smaller the leaves will be. But it's cool. Also, again, the nitrogen side of it. I know the first time I planted them, I used a lot of black cow throughout the season, and that might have been the reason why they grew so much bigger. I, however, am trying not to use so much store-bought things just to save myself money, if I'm honest. And I have my own compost, so I think once I build the soil good enough that I won't need to continue to buy a whole bunch of store-purchased stuff. So kale is a pretty cold hardy plant. I'm not gonna worry about harvesting the kale. Oh, collards are too, but Thanksgiving is coming up, so that's why I'm taking these collards. There's more collards over on the other side. I'm gonna grab those too. But kale is pretty cold hardy, like the red Russian and the blue curled kale. Those are pretty hardy, so I'm not gonna worry about taking those. I'll eat off of them throughout the winter, but I'm not gonna take them out the garden. So, like I said, there are more collards over on the other side. That's what I have so far. So there's some more on the other side. We're gonna go ahead and grab those. Like I said, I do think this is gonna be helpful, and the big leaves won't be in the way of the sun. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. What are you harvesting right now? Tell me what you're harvesting in your garden. I'm excited to be finally harvesting. I planted all of this stuff pretty much beginning of September, mid-September, and so it is now November. I probably could have started harvesting some of it earlier, but I didn't. So yeah, that is about how long it's taken in my backyard, in my zone 7B backyard with a little bit of shade. And these collards are a nice size, and they're in shade quite a bit of the day. But a lot of the fall vegetables can survive in a little bit of shade, so that's a plus. So I am noticing one of the cabbages is pretty tight. It's small, but they are planted kind of close together. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that little one too.
So it's a little one, but these leaves could be eaten. I'm not gonna eat these leaves. I'm gonna give these leaves to the chickens. They would like a treat, I'm sure. This cabbage also started getting eaten up a little bit, so probably a perfect time for me to harvest it. I'm gonna give my chickens a little treat. Yeah, oh wow, there's so many of the worms in there. Yep, so started being eaten up. It's a tiny little cabbage, but I can mix it with something. Hello, cabbage.
So I think we're gonna go ahead and harvest this rutabaga too. So that's my bounty for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna wait on the turnips because the actual turnip root is not that large. I'm also gonna wait on the broccoli rabe because I like the flower part of it. And so that's what I've been picking, and right now there aren't many flowers. They're small that are on there. So I'm gonna wait on those. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope some of the information that I gave out was useful. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in the garden just about every day. Bye.